Okay, so question number 12. What are the possible Lewis structures for this SCN minus ion? What is the formal charge of each atom in the structure? What is the best Lewis structure? So first, let's calculate total number of valence electrons for this ion. Sulfur has 6. Carbon has 4. Nitrogen has 5. And the overall charge of the ion is -1. So we're going to add an additional electron to our count. And we should end up with 16 valence electrons for this structure. So carbon is the least electronegative, so it's going to be our central atom. And then let's see all the different structures we can obtain. So you could have a triple bonded sulfur and a single bonded nitrogen. And I'm going to write the equation for formal charge up here. So formal charge is equal to the number of valence electrons minus the number of non-bonded electrons. So these are all the lone pairs, or the electrons in the lone pairs, minus the number of bonded electrons divided by 2. Okay, so let's calculate the formal charge of this. For the sulfur, sulfur has 6 valence electrons. It has 2 non-bonding electrons. And there are 3 bonds to the sulfur, so there are 6 divided by 2. So 6 minus 2 minus 3 gives us +1. So we know that this sulfur contains +1 formal charge. And the carbon will have 4 valence electrons minus 0 non-bonded electrons minus 8 bonded electrons divided by 2, which is 0. And for the nitrogen, there are 5 valence electrons, 6 non-bonded electrons, and 2 divided by 2. So 5 minus 6 minus 1 is -2. So this nitrogen has a -2 formal charge, and the sulfur has a +1 charge, so that's why the overall charge of this ion is -1. So let's try to draw a different resonance structure. Let me try to color code it. So let's see if we have double bonded sulfur and a double bonded nitrogen. So I'm only going to do the formal charge for sulfur and nitrogen, since I already know for carbon, it's just going to be 0. So for sulfur, there are 6 valence electrons, 4 non-bonded electrons, and 4 divided by 2 bonded electrons. So 6 minus 4 minus 2 is 0. And the formal charge of nitrogen is 5 minus 4 minus 4 divided by 2. So 5 minus 4 minus 2 is -1. So we know the nitrogen just has that -1 charge. So this is why the overall ion has the -1 charge. So now let's try to fit in a last resonance structure. And let's see what happens if the sulfur is now single bonded to the carbon and the nitrogen is triple bonded. The sulfur has 6 valence electrons. There are 6 non-bonding electrons and only a single bond. So 6 minus 1 is -1. And for the nitrogen, we have 5 minus 2 minus 6 over 2. So 5 minus 2 minus 3 is just 0. So this is if our sulfur contains the -1 charge. Okay, so these are all of the different resonance structures. And typically to find the best Lewis structure, we want to have the least number of formal charges in the structure. So we can already rule out our first option. And we want the formal charge to go to the negative formal charge to go to the more electronegative atom. So let's compare the electronegativity values of both sulfur and nitrogen. So nitrogen has an electronegativity of around like 3.0, and sulfur has an electronegativity of 2.5. So therefore the middle resonance structure would be the best one, since the nitrogen is the one that has the negative formal charge. Okay, so let's see what the junior tutor said. They explained a Lewis dot structure and had all the different steps and the rules. And you can see there are 3 different options. And all of the formal charges in a helpful table. Okay, so it's in the same order as mine, so that's good. So, yep. Based on their formal charges, the middle and right structures are considered better than the left because they have fewer and smaller formal charges. Based our decision solely on the rule, then the middle structure is more preferable because the negative charge is on the more electronegative atom. Yep. So this solution is correct.